That's
right.
All right.
That's your guy. Cece watches the races, tunes in. Is Bubba in the lead?
Back here on First
when they told me a brother was racing them, let me check it out.
Time now for Say What? Nova and Michigan face off tonight in the national title game. Michigan coach John Beilein was asked who would play him and Jay Wright in a movie. Right? Who would play the two of them? Check this out. Say what?
Oh, that's an easy question. At the end of the game tomorrow, he'll still look like George Clooney, and I will look like Columbo by Peter Falk at the end of that thing. So there's your comparison. I'd like to say Kevin Costner, but I can't go there.
That's great.
That's really funny.
That's great. They do kind of look like the buddy cop movie that Beilein's a week away from retirement. Jay Wright's in there.
The young hotshot that comes
keep him
in,
around.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh,
EQ Wright.
I mean, look at him.
But I got big problems with him.
The tie bar.
He had gone through the whole Big East tournament, no tie bar. I told him on the show, no tie bar. He went through the first 4 games of NCAA, no tie bar. Semifinals, peer pressure. He puts his blue suit on, blue Italian loafers, and puts the tie bar on.
Why don't you tell people why no tie bar for people that are home?
Because Cece's
just out? It's out this year?
Well, the style, based on the fashion consultant, that's actually 2018. Tie bars are out. So are flowers with the snow outside.
Oh, yeah. So are flowers. Spring has sprung for a lot of America. Just
not in New York City.
But I was so glad to see Jay Wright wearing that tie bar and for Villanova to play its best game of the tournament with tie bar. Because if they had lost that game, we'd have heard this for months. Good job, GQJ.
Christine dresses Jenna and I. Nick has personal assistants, great fashion designer in Danielle.
Yeah.
Danielle still believes in the flowers.
Yeah, I still believe in the flowers.
Yeah,
because he still believes in Danielle.
Exactly
right.
All
right, what?
Danielle, I should say, is my wife. I should say she's my wife.
I was just going to say that is your wife.
Some lady that's styling me. I just said, love you, baby. She is my wife, America.
Christine, we love you, too.
Time for some stories to start your morning. I was going to say it if you didn't. That's what I was trying to say.
Appreciate that.
Timberwolves sitting in the 7th seed out west. Got some good news yesterday. Jimmy Butler has been cleared for contact. He missed the last 15 games with a knee injury. He was pretty hurt. The T-Wolves are looking to make the playoffs for the first time since 2004. Nick, how much different are the T-Wolves when Butler is on the floor?
Oh, they go from just a team with 1 star to a legitimate threat in the West. Now, I think these last 5 games really matter. I think if they stay in the 7 or 8 seed, they're not going to get out of the first round. But I will tell you right now, if the Timberwolves, a fully healthy Timberwolves team, is the 6th seed facing Portland, I will favor the Timberwolves in that series.
Ooh,
I don't think Nurkic is good enough defender to handle Karl-Anthony Towns, and I think Jimmy Butler, as much as anyone, can minimize one of their great guards because he's such a great two-way player. So they're really dangerous if and when he does come back.
The people who question them hiring Thibodeau, the reason why is because can he play that type of physical style, very taxing on the players in practice?
Many minutes.
But also, would he build it? Derrick Rose was washed up. Would he be able to bring someone in who could explain to the younger players his system? Man, Jimmy Butler is that guy.
Yep.
So not only about the playoffs, them getting in the playoffs, the seeding, but Jimmy Butler is critical for this franchise. They wouldn't be in playoff position without him.
Absolutely.
They need him.
All right, the Thunder took down the Pelicans last night, 109-104. Russell Westbrook recorded his 24th triple-double of the season, finishing with 26 points. He had 15 rebounds, 13 assists. Nick, how impressive was Westbrook last night?
Westbrook, very impressive. The rest of the team, not so much. This was a huge game for both teams.
Yes.
Playoff positioning, and one of these teams could end up on the outside looking in, depending on how Denver plays over the last week and a half of the season. So a great win for Oklahoma City, especially considering Melo and Paul George combined to go 15 of 40 from the field. So Russ had to do everything, and he did everything in what was a great road win for them.
Right. This is the type of Russ that they need. And you had mentioned before, Russ falling in love with the three-point line. Not in this game. Russ's biggest problem is when he doesn't play good, he's not a great facilitator. So it seems like if he doesn't get a triple-double, then he's playing like an average ball player, and that hurts the rest of the team. That's why we didn't see Paul George or Melo kind of being able to put their fingerprint on this game. So So they needed this out of Russ, and Russ had been playing bad the last 3 games. So big win for OKC against the Pelicans.
It'd be nice to see OKC get a big win without Russ playing great. All 9 of their wins over good teams post-Christmas, Russ has been amazing.
Yeah, how's that guy from Syracuse working out there? How's that fourth quarter?
Let's leave Melo alone. Let's leave Melo alone.
All right, finally, guys, Lamar Jackson will be one of many quarterbacks hoping to hear his name on day 1 of the draft. The 2016 Heisman Trophy winner stock reportedly trending upwards. He's been projected as high as 15th overall to the Cardinals. CC, is Jackson worth a first-round pick?
And absolutely. And we went through a couple weeks where people were questioning, oh, should he change positions? We found out that most NFL teams weren't actually trying to change his position. People weren't trying to get him to work out at a different position. But when you look at all the quarterbacks in college football, the last 3 years, let's not forget about last year by itself. Let's look at the totality of it, the last 3 years. I mean, he's been just as good as Baker Mayfield. He's the only quarterback of all the top 5 that have first-round projections that can say that. And he's gotten so much better at throwing the ball sideways on bubble screens, short passes, to intermediate, to throwing the ball down. If you look at each one of those categories, as he has progressed, as a freshman, true freshman, as a sophomore, and as a junior, he has gotten better in all those areas. It would warrant him being selected in the first round.
CeCe's point, that last one, is really interesting. So our great statistician, Dusty, put together...
Sometimes he's great.
Okay, well, great on this one. Put together for... throws behind the line of scrimmage, throws 0 to 10 yards, throws 10 yards and above. And of all the top quarterbacks in this draft, Lamar's the only one that saw his percentage, his accuracy improve in each of those categories.
Yes.
The behind the line, intermediate length, and longer length, he improved in each category. Listen, this guy is not a flawless prospect. He needs to be more accurate, and you do have legitimate concern. Will he, because he was so effective running the football, he had more rushing yards in his college career than Saquon Barkley, just for a little context for it. Like, I mean, so when a guy was that effective running the football, was timed last year running a 4.3, will he look to run too early? That's always the knock on a mobile quarterback. Will he at first chance leave the pocket and not realize, man, in the NFL, everybody's fast. Famously, who chased down RG3? Wasn't some safety. It was Haloti Ngata, who's 340 pounds, came and got him. So you do worry about that. But we got worries about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, is he good in the games? Yeah. We know he's all these measurables, good at practice. Worry about Josh Rosen. Can he stay healthy? Sam Darnold, like there's...
Yeah, will he develop consistency? Will he reach his potential?
Right. Baker Mayfield, his height and his demeanor. Like, there's questions about all these guys. I understand why he wouldn't be the top quarterback taken. But when they were discussing, like, he's a mid-third round pick, his production was too extraordinary from throwing the football as well as running the football to not at least be considered middle of the first round.
If you look at the 2 knocks on him, the 2 things you both have said was his, you know, the ability to stay in the pocket when everything breaks down and his accuracy. Well, one I feel like is coachable, and the other one, can you improve on that before the season starts in September? On the accuracy. I mean, how do you say, hey, listen, you need to get more accurate and then you'll be great?
I think in trying to, he'll get with a throwing coach, which most pros have, and what he'll do is he'll shorten up his motion. What he'll do is make sure he gets his elbow can continue to be higher, because when your elbow is higher, it's easier for you to command where the ball is going to go. Now, you watch him now when he throws the ball, his arm is down this way. That's why the ball kind of sails on his long throws and why he's inconsistent. And when you watch the guys in the NFL, you'll see their elbow being high on their delivery, which creates more consistency. It is something that is developed as he is a pro.
And if his accuracy can't get better, then Josh Allen's can't either, and Josh Allen might go #1 overall. Josh Allen completed a lower percentage of his passes in a far weaker conference. So none of these guys have there is not Andrew Luck, John Elway, Peyton Manning in this room.
Right. You can make their arm strength just a little bit better, but you can make, I mean, by leaps and bounds, their accuracy and the ability to be able to put the ball where NFL receivers can catch it. I believe that that is a lot bigger change than being able to change one's arm strength.
Okay, good to know. All right, back to the NBA now. LeBron recorded...
Anything for you, Jenna?
Thank you so much. His 17th triple-double despite shooting just 5 for 21 from the field. But this wasn't a pretty win for Cleveland. They struggled to beat a Mavericks team that's sitting 30 games under 500. After the win, LeBron spoke about the team's playoff outlook. Take a listen.
You know, when it comes down to the postseason, you know, we can We can be pretty good. I mean, I think so, but I mean, we don't know. I mean, listen, we lost our starting point guard last game, you know, so we're trying to get everybody acclimated. Our head coach is still out, and that's going to take a little time to get back as well. So, I mean, I don't know what we're capable of doing. We haven't played a playoff game together. We got 4 guys from our championship team. Myself, JR, Tristan, and Kev. We got some playoff experience, but I mean, you don't know. It's a new season, so we see what happens.
It is a new season, and we've talked about what expectations are for them in the regular season. I'm curious where you think they can go in the postseason.
I think the reasonable and fair expectations for the Cleveland Cavaliers should be the same they are for every team that has LeBron James basically in a year. Be in the finals and see what happens. Now, taking this team to the finals will be the best job he will have had to do, given the competition in the East this year and given who is on his roster, of any finals trip since 2007. Yes. The miraculous one. This is the worst supporting cast he's had since he went to Miami, so over these last 8 years. There's no question about it. Which is why, by the way, you guys know I believe James Harden's your league MVP. I think James Harden should be a near unanimous league MVP. But the Cavs might go 51-31 this year. They went 51-31 last year. That is a testament to what LeBron has done throughout the season. With all the injuries, with the Kyrie trade, with the IT trade being a total disaster, they still have not played one full game with the lineup they hope to have come the first game of the playoffs, and they might finish with the same record they finished with last year. That's a testament to LeBron. But what are my expectations? My expectations are they will get through the East. My expectations are they will not face an elimination game on their way to getting through the East. I don't think they'll play a Game 7. They haven't played a Game 7 there since he came back. And then in the West, they will be decided underdogs against Houston or Golden State, and we'll see what happens. Those are my expectations for this team. And to be fair, as long as LeBron James were healthy and playing like this, and he wasn't good yesterday, but the way he's been playing, those would be my expectations almost no matter who else was on the roster.
Seeing J.R. Smith play a couple games well, seeing Jordan Clarkson, to me, he's had the best transition of all the players that they traded for. He realized what his role is. He's a bench player. He's going to play about 20, 25 minutes a game and come in and get buckets. Now, can he do that in the postseason? Because I believe once they get their full complement of players, because Nance, he's a role player. He's an energy defense guy, rim run, and alley-oop guy. Rodney Hood, he's a knockdown shooter. I believe that these players, they're role players. Because LeBron will set the stage for them. But I believe going into the playoffs, the overall health is more important, and also these other players playing together in J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith brings them a different type of energy. I mean, he's like one of those kind of guys that, man, when he shows up, things just seem to get better. The jokes are a little bit funnier. The water's a little bit cooler. It's just one of those types of things that his emotion and everything is on his face. Like, if he's happy, it goes to the team. If he's not, I believe it drags the team down. So I believe that we need to watch these other players because they will dictate how this goes and what the expectations. Because for me, Cleveland should be in the finals. But it's not based on LeBron. It's based on all those other 11 players.
I was going to actually ask you the opposite. I was going to say, is it really just about what LeBron and Kevin Love do, and whoever you end up, when you talk about a full complement of players, whoever you end up plucking, as long as those two guys are playing a pretty solid game, they can get through any series?
For me, in the East, yes. I understand why Chris would feel differently, but for me, what we know is I understand people feel the gap is closed, but people need to remind themselves how big the gap was. Each of the last 2 years, the Cavs have started the Eastern Conference playoffs winning 10 consecutive games. Each of the last 2 years, they've swept round 1, they've swept round 2, they've started round 3 up 2-0.
And also in those years, too, they had the 2 best players in the Eastern Conference, in Kyrie and LeBron. Now, so that's when they... Yes.
I understand that, but we also saw them sweep, say, the Eastern Conference Finals 3 years ago when Kyrie barely played in that series, and that was a 60-win Hawks team. Listen, I might end up looking crazy about this. The Cavs might struggle. They might look the way they were terrible yesterday. They only won the game by 11 points because Dallas is not trying to win games in the fourth quarter. Like, Dallas puts out absurd lineups because they're trying to tank in the fourth quarter. Like, maybe the Cavs will just continue looking like this. Or I just remember last year, everyone was so worried about their defense. 29th in the league post All-Star break. Then they sweep round 1, they sweep round 2, and they damn near sweep round 3. Like, I don't think they'll sweep through.
They could have gotten swept in the finals, too, though.
They could have gone. We're not talking about the finals now. My expectations for the the finals are a very different set of circumstances. I'm talking about getting to the finals.
Yeah, that finals is turn the car. Let's turn the.
I like it. I said, what do you think? Well, I say get to the finals and see what happens.
You'll have the best player on the court in the NBA finals. See what you can do.
It's analysis. Coming up, is there trouble brewing with the New England Patriots? Next on First Things First. What?
I'm not measuring my hand. What does that look like from over there?
Looks like a big old...